Goosebumps.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. I'm gonna hear. I'm gonna do the intro right quick. Hold on. What's going on, my brothers and sisters around the world? It's your boy Terrell with the Y. I got my special guest today. I got my brother, my friend, man. Somebody with the same energy as you that understand themselves or learn about themselves. Here's the thing: don't take anybody for granted. Please don't take anybody for granted. My special guest, Aaron. What's going on, brother?
Oh my God. I've never been spoken about like that. I've never been brought in like that. You make me feel like I'm buzzing, man. I'm on a cloud right now. What's going on? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, man. So, who are you? What are you doing? Where are you from?
Oh my God, that's a deep question. But my name is Aaron Weitzman. Well, where I'm from is Southern California, specifically Laguna Niguel. What do I do? A lot of things. But what I'm passionate about is learning more about myself, sharing that journey, and hopefully helping others along that path. Got my company's hat on here, Origami. Founded it with my best friend, my brother, Connor Kerr. He was the originator of this company, and it's something where we're looking to bring value to everyone in the most simple ways of helping people to better understand themselves and build habits that are going to build their futures.
Wow. That self personal development is so hard because we don't understand it. We don't understand all the attributes that goes behind that, right? With confidence, with belief, with the process, with like being exposed to new avenues of life, with the journey, with trusting the journey, trusting the process, with all these different avenues going on, we have to adapt to each and every one of them emotionally, physically, spiritually, personally. How are you adapting to yourself and your new environment?
Oh God, slowly, slowly, painfully, and I think in the best way. God, something you said, how are you adapting physically? And that's something I'd love to touch on because the physical, the emotional, they're so intertwined. When you, I I find it interesting when people say, like, oh, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling like that, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling confused. But they'll say, oh, that's emotional, that's mental, that's in your head. But they forget that part of like feeling, right?
Mm,
You're physically feeling something. You have a sensation where physically too, let's say you feel sore. Well, you're feeling that too, but people tend to kind of separate those two. They're both
mhm,
feeling something. When you're feeling sore, I mean, you're probably maybe a little bit annoyed, a little irritated, a little bit more quickly agitated. And the reason why I bring that up, and I'm glad you asked that question, how am I guess how am I navigating all that? It's reorientating myself with feeling.
mhm,
It's taking what I used to think was a pain or some sort of sensation that I should avoid. Oh, I'm
mhm,
nervous. I'm scared. I'm sore. I need to back off. And remembering, no, 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 this is actually a sign that this is growth. Like what I've been afraid of my entire life. No, that's what I should run towards. That's what I should sit in, breathe through,
mhm.
essentially grow from.
Essentially grow from. You know, growth is very intimidating because we have to do things we have to do things that we are not comfortable with doing. But how do we get comfortable and build the aptitude to say I can do this as well? So the fact that you're going along your journey, you're finding yourself, and you're really transitioning your mindset. It shows how much you believe in yourself. It shows how determined you are for success, for happiness, for greatness, for everything that you have in mind. For somebody that's in the realm of suffering, sorrowness, hurt, how would you say learn how to accept your feelings and really listen to them? Like, what type of advice would you give for somebody like that?
Mm. First, I want to go back for a second because I think this will help build that foundation. And you said something very kind, but that I really believe in myself. And I do a lot of the times. But what I think I believe in more, and what's helped me go down this path more, is I believe in this science of what all of this entails. I believe in the principles. Like I believe in the habits of it. So there's days I don't believe in myself at all. Actually, earlier today, I was in a really bad funk and went to the gym, kind of cleared my head. But I believe in the principles of it, because I don't even think you always need to believe in yourself. Just believe that there's a higher power, believe that there's something going on. How would I help, or what advice would I give to somebody going through that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could tell a story.
Let's go
Right
for it.
when COVID started, I was working up in Mammoth Mountain, so a ski resort in California, and we all got fired. Obviously, a ski resort's not going to stay open through COVID. And yeah, it was a weird time, man. Weird time. But we got fired. All of us went home. Thank God I could go home to my parents, but was just left alone with nothing but time and my thoughts and anxiety building up and just nothing to do. And all these weird epiphanies of how I could have been a better friend to this person. I could have done better and could have done a million things. I was just sitting in this like mental hell. And I started stretching a lot.
Mm.
I was bored. I started stretching.
Uh-huh.
And this thing specifically, I attribute this one revelation to kind of shifting my mindset and essentially going down a different path. And I would stretch, and I've always had issues with dislocating my left shoulder, like dislocating certain joints. So I have a lot of fear about too much mobility.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had nothing to do. So I would stretch and I'd get in these positions where, like, let's say I'd feel like, oh my God, my shoulder's about to pop out. But I'd say, you know what, let me just sit here. Let me just hold it. And there was this sensation that I'd conditioned myself to say, this is danger, this is pain, back away. But I would just sit there and I'd breathe and I'd stretch a bit more. And that feeling that always told me, like, danger, you are this close from dislocation, from death, from all of your fears, well, it became relaxing. I began to open up. I began to get more range of mobility, but I also got happier. Those moments of fear and anxiety melted away, and it was replaced with creativity and optimism. And I did that for a while. I didn't necessarily have this light bulb moment, but I started noticing, like, physically and emotionally, going back to that tie, like that physical feeling of anxiety and fear, that's the same one of when you're afraid to maybe go on a podcast or do public speaking or do anything. It's the same thing. And if physically I'm just sitting into it and relaxing, and it's healthy for me, what I used to think was scary is good for me. Why can't that translate to everything else? So,
Mm.
to the question, what advice would I give? Learn to love the pain, learn to understand the pain.
So what I learned over as through my journey, I've learned a lot. But the way I was raised by a single mom, and my mama did a fantastic job raising three boys by herself. But she didn't teach us how to express ourselves, right?
Mm.
You know, nothing against her, absolutely nothing against her. She did an amazing job raising us. We was able to see a successful woman go for anything that she want to achieve. She has 8 degrees. If that's not motivating and inspirational, I don't know what is. But however, as we're coming into our adult life, how can we figure out ourselves and figure out who we are? Right? It's hard. It's hard learning how to identify your every emotion that you have, and rather than pushing it, rather than suppressing it, we sit in it. Like we're able to identify it and just say, okay, I'm feeling this type of way because of this. At first, I wasn't able to identify how I was feeling, but it took me time, it took me pain, and it took dedication in order to figure out, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling something that's here? I can't. We as people, we want to get rid of the emotions, but we can't get rid of emotions. Man or woman, we all got them. We all have them. But how are we working with them rather than against them? See, that's the biggest question when it comes to emotion. As a human being, what are you doing to control every emotion that you have?
Mm.
We have to accept it. We have to accept it. As hard as it's going to be, as difficult as it will be, we have to accept everything that we're dealing with, everything that we're going through, everything that's really giving us anxiety. Before we even started this podcast, Aaron, you said that you was nervous. You was able to identify and feel that. What do you most do you regret anything? I know this question is towards the end, but I feel like it goes perfect right here. Do you regret anything
In life?
in life? Yep.
Oh man. Um, I was gonna say no because I anything that I could regret, I look at as I did the best I could at the time. But
Hmm.
then I saw this clip on Instagram the other day, and it was about some person reviewing a book that was essentially talking about the whole concept of no regrets is actually like crap. And I think it was Daniel Pinkman that was talking about how regrets, I don't actually know, so I don't want to speak on it. But
Yeah.
from what I ascertained, essentially regrets are a very healthy thing, and you should have regrets. And it's almost like this fuel or this something to kind of push you back on track. Like if you don't regret something, maybe it doesn't give you that energy to not make that mistake the last time. Um, I don't think so though, because as much as I might reflect on things in the past and think maybe I should, I just wouldn't trade where I'm at today for anything. And it scares me because those things that I might consider regrets, God, I don't know what I'd be doing if I took those opportunities.
Yeah. Realization is key. For some reason, because that's the last question that I asked, and it's called best for last, and that's part of the segment. I only have one segment. However, for some reason, it just felt good to incorporate that question right there because the way you just really explained that was phenomenal, was amazing, was very
Thank you.
descriptive. What are you
Thank you.
proud of?
I'm so sorry I cut you off.
What was I saying?
I was really curious when you were talking about how you and your brothers were raised by a single mom who, for one, 8 degrees. That is mind-boggling. Um, Talking about how you didn't know how to express yourself. When did you notice that that was even something you could do? Like, what was that point in your life when you grasped, all right, I have the ability to, now I'm going to start putting in the work?
When it was this year. Um, when I was going through my divorce, it so many things happened within a short span of time. And I say this because when it rains, it really rains. And it's not it rains and then stop happening. It's not a bad day then it stop happening. It's not like a tragedy then it just get better. Absolutely not. What I came to learn is that one bad event come, another gonna come, another gonna come, another gonna come, another gonna come, another's gonna come, another's gonna come. It's learning that we have the power to react how we're going to react, but we have to recognize what's going on and is it worth it. There's a saying, I think I'm a butcher it. I think I'm a butcher it, but to really answer your question, you know how they say a woman can't raise a boy, or women can't raise men, or something like that.
Yeah.
I really butcher it.
I,
But
I, yeah.
yeah, I definitely butchered it. But I realized it's like a couple of weeks ago. Our mama did a fantastic job raising the boys. But how can we discover how to become a man from a woman?
Mm.
We got to figure that out ourselves. Our dad went in the picture, so we didn't have an example to follow. However, I did play football. I was around men, but really dwelling in the growth of becoming a man is hard. It's challenging because a man, in my definition of a man is one that knows himself and is willing to sacrifice any everything for the life that he desired.
Mm.
So it to really answer your question, this year of 2022, everything that happened, it forced me to learn more about myself. It forced me. I didn't know I needed it, but it really developed me into a new person.
Wow. I
What
appreciate
is
you
your
sharing.
you said when
Sorry, I was just saying I appreciate you sharing that, Terrell.
I thank you for asking. That was a phenomenal question, Aaron. Man, You know, we learn from each other, right? Iron sharpens iron, but we can't sharpen the iron if you don't know who we are.
Mhm.
So it's an equal balance of growth because once we're growing, once we identify who we are, now we start to attract the people that can be in our lives. The people that's trickling it off, they're not meant to be in our life. I mean, it hurts, but that's a lesson. That's the lesson behind it. What is your definition of a man?
Never thought of one. I've never thought of it. I love yours so much that I almost want to copy it. I've never sat down and thought about what my definition of what being a man was. Probably something similar, maybe with a spin of being able to take on the responsibility that maybe they don't want, but they know that they need.
Mm. Break that down. Like, how can you deviate what you want from what you need?
I think looking at it with instant gratification and delayed gratification, there's a pretty significant difference between like what's fun in the moment, what we want to do, and then what we know we need to do by is this the right thing 6 months down the road, 1 year, 5 years? Like, is this actually impactful in other people's lives? Is this bigger than myself?
Mm.
That's been a lesson I've really been learning this year and probably coming to terms with might be more selfish than I thought I was and kind of breaking out of that mold. Honestly, being a part of origami, being a part of so many other ventures, it's allowed me to be a part of something that's bigger than me, that humbles me constantly. And I do think it has a lot to do with the responsibility that you're willing to take on, that you don't want, but you know you need to.
Mm. Wow. You know, it, it's amazing because you can tell how much growth has occurred in this short span of time. What happened for you to want to change?
Love that. Um, well, there's been so many different moments, and I want to break that down too, because I grew up thinking that change happened like in a Disney movie. And then once there was some character that like it really in any movie they say okay I've had enough or I'm going to go be a professional I don't know dart player, I'm going to go win the bowling league, I'm going to get the girl, and then it cuts to the montage, 3 minutes of like aggressive training. It shows them like fumbling a ball, and then a week, then it shows like them doing some more push-ups and they're better at fumbling the ball. And I thought it was like that you
Mhm.
would just have this light, this switch, and that everything worked out. And you, for some reason, your mind would be motivated to just be this disciplined machine, and then you'd become this perfect person, like in the movie. And I never had that moment, so I thought it just wasn't the time.
Mm.
I thought it was either an all or nothing. I didn't realize that it was little gradual steps. So I don't think I made very significant progress until maybe I was 20, 21, when I first read this book, the 7 habits of highly effective people by Stephen Covey, changed my life. Love you, mom. She was the one that got me that book. She's the best person. I,
Mhm.
I owe everything to her. She gave me that book. And that was the first time that I had conceptualized the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Because up until that point, I thought that people were just the way they were, and the way that I thought and the person that I was it. That's who I was, the good and the bad. So understanding that that's not the case. You can understand who you are in that moment. It's a snapshot. But understanding that through awareness and hard work and reprogramming your brain, you can change. That was that first pivotal moment. It's been like 6 years or so since then, and there's been a lot of little moments of taking chances, making mistakes, feeling horrible, getting back up, and just slowly building that foundation.
You're, you're speaking from experience, and you're speaking how much you learned over the years. Because it takes time. It takes time. I didn't even know that there was a different way that people think. I didn't even know that. I didn't even see that. I didn't even understand it. When I joined the military, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, which means I just did it. When I had a thought, because I was scheduled to leave like in March, but it kept getting postponed to like March to April, April to May, and so on and so forth. But I ended up leaving October 28th. And when I left, to be honest, I didn't even do no research about the military, about the Marines, simply because I'm like, I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna join the military. I don't know what's going to come from this. But when I first got off the bus, I didn't understand what I just did. Now, me really looking back on it, I did something that the norm wouldn't do. What the norm is really taking a risk on yourself. I took a risk on myself to leave my comfortable environment to change to develop some type of working skills. Because at first I wanted to be a mechanic. Thank God I did not do that. Thank I do. I was a driver. I was a driver, motor transportation. I was a driver. So I've learned that things happen as we're taking risks. Things become more aware as we just go for it. And that's what hinders a lot of people from success, from happiness, from personal growth. We hold ourselves so tight that we're afraid to jump, so we don't jump. So how do you let go of the fear and just to say, I want to jump? Whatever happens is going to happen, but I'm going to jump. How do you like build the fortitude to do something like that?
Little steps, you know. I guess a good example. So snowboarding. I had never snowboarded before I was 20. And then for whatever reason, I just got this random urge over winter break that I'm going to go rent a cabin up in Big Bear,
Mm-hmm.
mountains, Southern California. And hopefully my friends will come. We'll just go hang out in the snow. And that was it. And it was this really weird urge. Went up to the cabin, or sorry, a little bit back, told everyone I was going to do it. And then we ended up getting a big group of friends, went up to the cabin. Then everyone thought, why don't we go snowboarding? I was like, why the hell not? And I'm afraid of almost everything. Like I grew up with a ridiculous amount of fear. So I just thought snowboarding was like kind of cruising around in pillows of fluff and that it would be super fun and cool. And then the second I got up there, I realized, no, this is like icy death. This is painful. I suck at this. And I'd never really been the most athletic person. And board sports, especially, like I was a fish, not even out of water, out of the planet. Like this is not what I was good at. Um, but I just kept going at it because I had nothing else to do. And you're at the top of a mountain. And honestly, I had a few drinks, so I had this confidence and this looseness, and I just kept going after it. And day one, I would say was kind of a success because I was able to start doing this whole falling leaf for anyone that ever snowboards, and that was fun enough. But the reason I bring that up is it was the first time that I fell in love with something that terrified me that I kept going back at. I went a few more times that year. Then the next season I went a little bit more. And I was always terrified, but it was just it was more fun than I was scared. And I wanted to keep getting better. And I
Mm-hmm.
kept getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And then I just ended up moving up to the mountains for a few years and I got a lot better. But there was this progression. It was a very gradual, organic progression that I could have gone faster too. I think that I learned very slowly because I didn't allow myself to kind of take my foot off the brake. It's like I had my foot on the gas, but the brake too. So I was kind of half-assing it. But I look at that as the best example of how I slowly got more comfortable with the fear and taking risks. And it's more what scared you yesterday isn't necessarily going to scare you today because you're a little bit better. So building it into just bite-sized chunks.
So do you think them bite-sized chunks can become overwhelming?
The bite-sized chunks themselves,
Yeah.
or they
Yes.
should. I think it kind of depends on the state of mind too, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you've built good habits in your life, or let's say you're staying hydrated, you're eating the right things, you're getting good sleep, you're just doing those simple things. I think you're having a better outlook on life. So you might be a little bit more prone to taking a risk or just feeling healthier. Where, let's say you're getting awful sleep, your diet's all over the place, you're just a mess, you might just get easily overwhelmed by anything. So I think, and that's a great question. So maybe if those bite-sized chunks are terrifying you, there's two ways to look at it. Maybe one, maybe you can make them a little bit more bite-sized. You might think that they're a small enough task. Maybe you need to be humbled a bit, or give yourself a little grace and do something less. Or going back to awareness, like we were talking about, maybe you're just not in the right headspace, and that could be an indicator.
So, everything that we deal with ties into each other. They're intertwining with each other subconsciously. We don't understand the lessons that we're taking, that we're enduring today, are for the future. We don't understand the actions that we're taking today are for the future. So everything that we're doing is not for today, it's really to set us up in the future. Here's the thing that I learned. In order to have the confidence within yourself, you have to really believe that everything is going to play out the way it's going to play out. Within these last couple of months, I had to learn who I was, who I wanted to become, and why. Who am I? My name is Terrell Humphrey, and I'm becoming somebody that can help transform people's minds. Where did I get this from? Being exposed to people that help transform people's minds. So it's like being exposed shows you the light, but just because you have the light doesn't mean you can follow it until you find yourself. So with everything, as everything correlates with each other, confidence is a big factor that we as people do not have because we don't believe it, we don't understand it, and we don't know how to go by getting it.
Mm.
How do you, Aaron, build up your confidence?
You are on fire. Oh, that was good. Oh man, that's a really great question, and I've thought about that a lot. And I think it's a very simple answer. I really think confidence comes from trust. I think
Wow.
it comes from trusting yourself. If you trust that, maybe you don't have to be the best at something, but if you trust that you will learn and you will dedicate yourself to that, if you trust that you will honor the commitments you've made, if you, like, think about trust in a relationship. If you trust that your best friend isn't going to screw you over, meaning they are your best friend, you have confidence. If you trust that your significant other, believes in you, it's like you have confidence. I think it's all about trust. So developing trust in yourself and your ability to grow and succeed, I think that's kind of the most foundational way to look at confidence.
Mhm. That that's magical. That's powerful. That's understanding. That's achievable. That's attainable. Because one thing that we as people really don't understand is that the power of belief goes a long way. Because it starts with yourself, right? It starts with yourself. What are you doing? Why do you believe that you can do this? I don't know. I just feel like there's a bigger reason, and I can really help a lot of people. I really believe I can help transform a lot of people's lives just by me being present, just by me exposing people to what I was exposed to, right? But the thing what we as people lack and never really did because we never understood it was date ourselves. How do we date ourselves if we don't know ourselves? Because when you build a foundation right here, you have something to bring to the table for your spouse, not just your spouse, for your business partner, not just your business partner, but your friend, not just your friend, for your family, for everybody you come encounter with, you have a foundation. Well, what is this foundation? It's belief within yourself. Have you dated yourself yet?
Dating yourself. Talk about incest. Kidding. You can bleep that out.
We gonna
That's
keep it in. We gonna keep it
Yeah, we gotta keep it in. That's such a great way of describing it. Um, I Maybe the way I've been thinking about it is I've really had a good time of getting to know myself.
Yeah.
And I was writing down my notes earlier after I got out of the sauna, but it's been a real blessing learning more about who I am, kind of remembering parts of who I was, which I guess never went away, but
Mhm.
learning more about how I handle adversity, how I am as a friend, um, how I am as a son, how I am in general. So I guess, yeah, dating is a good way to look at it. And I guess I could say I've been on a lot of dates with myself this year.
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't know hours though, so I'm kind of a jerk.
Yeah. I got a question. Well, somebody, Carrie asked a great question. How do you date yourself? That question is so phenomenal, so amazing. Carrie, here's how. Here's how. You know how you meet somebody, Carrie and Aaron. So I'm talking to like both of y'all, talking to y'all, but through y'all. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's how you date yourself. You know how you meet somebody, you find them attractive, they got your attention. Okay, the looks got your attention.
Mhm.
But how do you go in depth and really want to know? Do I want to keep with this person, keep pursuing this person, or do I want to just step back or like find out what it is? Or communication. Communication is key. You're conversing with this person to see what they want, or can y'all be a good fit for each other? Is it a good match? If it's not a good match, no hard feelings. If it is a good match, let's talk. Let's get to know one another. Let's find out what you like, what you don't like, what makes you sad, what makes you happy. What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your goals? What are your dislikes? Are you able to listen to your emotions? So we are able to ask the next person all these questions, but we forget to ask ourselves the same question. When we start to date ourselves, we start to pay attention to things that we never really understood. It was there, it's here in front of us because we're present. It's here. However, the bigger lesson comes from when you're able to identify who you are, what you like, what you don't like, not what you not willing to put up with, what you will put up with, who you want to be around, why you want to be around. There's no explanation for anything because when you know yourself, you know yourself.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So we have to date ourselves in order to bring value to our next spouse, relationship, friend, business partner. So we have to take the time out to really date ourselves like we're dating somebody else.
God, I love that. I love that so much. And one of the biggest reasons about that is if you're dating someone, you're becoming aware of, who they are, what they think, what they believe. And when we tie it back into, different habits, like I am an avid journaler. I
Yeah.
love to journal. So I guess in ways I am going on daily dates with myself. I'm writing love letters to myself and learning more about what's going on in there. Meditation, allowing yourself to sit with your thoughts. I never thought about it in terms of dating, but it makes a lot of sense. You got to know what's going on in there. You got to know yourself in all different capacities. Because, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like, we're dating ourselves. So, would the next step be marrying ourselves?
That's a good question. That is a great point.
Where does this one go?
I, let's see. I wouldn't say marriage because marriage is just like a commitment. Well, yes, it is. So I guess you're committed to dating yourself, so you can be married to yourself.
Hmm.
Oh
I,
no.
I've heard too that, granted, I'm single as hell and I've been single for a while. So take any relationship advice I say with all the grains of salt. But from, I think Tony Robbins was talking about it. It's like you should still be consistently dating your wife or your significant other. Like even if you're married, it's more that concept of keeping it fresh, of continuing to grow with each other and learn more about each other. So yeah, you could be committed and still date.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, we never stop dating ourselves.
Yeah, that is a valid point. I like the way you just put that as well. It's all about a foundation, right? What I'm learning now is that in order to build a foundation, we have to communicate. In order to keep communicating, we have to be interested in each other. As we're interested in each other, how can we keep growing to where we're not losing what we had in the first place? So when we want to get somebody attention and or like really put ourselves out there to introduce that other person. Then as we doing that, we have a conversation. Now we go for lunch, we go for dinner. Now we go out. Now we're not go out, but we go on a date. Then now we're constantly going on a date, being around each other. But as time goes on, we lose that love and ambition. The first moment, the first time we was dating and really met, because when you got comfortable with each other, rather than being comfortable, how can we keep this level of excitement and keep growing? See, I wouldn't be able to say that back in 2021, well, 2020 when I got married, because I didn't know. I simply did not know. I did not know. But as we're going through life, as we're going through ourselves, in the process and the journey, we learn and identify more than we think. So it's really just it's all about timing. If I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't understand. Okay, I need to work on myself. That other person that I'm going to meet need to work on themselves as well. Because if you can't control your emotions, if you don't know yourself, if you got all this trauma over here, I can't help you with that. You better help yourself. That's too much on my plate. I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. That's having the choice and that mental awareness of what you're willing to deal with. Right. So have you say you single. Are you putting yourself out there to find a young lady, or what's the situation? What's the move, man?
That's why I came on the podcast. No, I'm
Dr. Phil. Wait,
yeah.
is it Dr. Phil? I
Huh?
don't know. Is it Dr. Phil with the dating?
I don't know, maybe that's why I'm single. No, I'm for the first time really ever. I am so happy being alone, and I'm not alone. I have incredible friends and the best business partners, an amazing family, and I've really enjoyed getting to dating myself because I still got a lot of dating with myself to do, and I really love the businesses I'm growing. It's I just don't really have the bandwidth right now, really the desire. Like I'm really happy. Like I'm really happy on my own, and I want someone down the road, but like for the first time ever, I feel so fulfilled with just me.
Yeah, yeah. I've learned I like my space. I like my space.
This is nice.
It is. It's peaceful. It's relaxing. I saw this post that said sometimes I be getting tired of myself. I was like, I didn't even think of that. What? Let's talk about business. How are you using your everyday life, your everyday experience to incorporate that in your business?
I think the first is trying to be very compassionate with everyone I work with. Um, Trying to just be a person rather than growing up. I thought business was about just being like cold and calculated, which you got to be detached at parts. You can't be overly emotional,
Mhm.
but just trying to be a real person and have real conversations and just bring those values into every interaction. I still need to work on it a lot, but I'm trying to do that. And I've noticed that as I feel more comfortable with myself and I feel more comfortable bringing that to other people, success starts to follow. I don't have to hide. It's kind of exhausting when you feel that it's not kind of, it's exhausting when you feel that you have to be someone else because
Mhm.
now you're kind of putting on this act. You have this mask on. You're already trying to do something difficult. Now you're trying to do something difficult as someone else. So kind of taking those shackles off and just being the best type of person you know how to be, treating people fairly, and I think dating yourself, but taking care of yourself. When you're taking care of yourself right, you're getting good sleep and you're putting good things in your body, you're journaling to clear your anxiety, you're meditating, you're connecting with friends, you're nourishing your soul. You have more energy, you have more vitality, you have people want to work with you as opposed to like if everything just sucked, and it's this guy's problem, it's that problem. These people are the worst. I'm not getting the sale because they just don't understand it. Like your energy changes and people pick that up. And I've been that other side plenty of times. And I'm sure there are bad days I have where that is the energy I give off, but in loving yourself and wanting to be the best version of yourself, it carries over into everything else.
That's incredible. How many businesses do you have?
I guess I would say two, but within them, there's a lot of different activity within it.
Of course, of course. Because what I learned about business is that it's very overwhelming. You know, so I was doing the real estate business from my side, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the real estate on pause and primarily focus on public speaking. So that way, as I'm building the funds up for public speaking, I can put into real estate, multifamily units, etc. You know, when you, because I'm learning you can't really juggle everything by yourself. Until I build a team, until I'm really like pushing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the public speaking to where I can market myself, keep marketing, right? Keep marketing and really build something up for the future. So when I start having the email list, when I start having people, audience that I can really push my products and really bring value to, they're already there because of the time and the effort I put into public speaking. So the funds that I'm accumulating from public speaking and really making a difference, I can put into real estate and create wealth. So just that level of understanding, it's very vital to know what you can handle and what you can't handle. Because real estate is phenomenal. Real estate is great, is amazing. However, I read this post or saw this video podcast or something. It was like, um, you can't be a master of all traits if you're not a master of one. I said, oh, this man talking to me. This man talking to me. But I've learned, I've been practicing and perfecting my gift for the last couple of years. So how can I go from practicing and perfecting to creating a business around it? So that's what I'm in the process of doing. Really dialing in on public speaking, social media content, YouTube, and really just practicing, perfecting my stories, my points, my vision, how I can transform people's lives. You know, my signature speech. It's so much that goes into everything. However, it's very beneficial. What made you want to go into business for yourself?
Getting fired.
Yes, go. Let's go.
When COVID hit, like I thought that I was king of the mountain. I was working at Mammoth Mountain. I'd somewhat quickly risen the corporate ladder. Um, I was very proud of what I did. I was very proud of how quickly I did it. And I kept seeing a trajectory to higher levels within the company. And it was enough to feed the insecurity in my ego. It was enough to make me think that, okay, this is the external validation I need. Now I'm a manager. Now I have all of this, I don't know, clout. I thought I had a lot of clout at the time. It was nice just having some authority and being valued and being liked. And COVID hit and whatever job security I had just went out the window. And going home, and I mean, no one could work. We all thought we were going to die, and it just gave me a lot of time to think. And two of my brothers, my best friends, also two business partners of mine, we were taking a walk maybe like 4 weeks after lockdown or something, and they said like, hey, why don't you sign up for real estate classes? Like, do you want to be an agent? Sure. Like, why not? I'm bored. I got nothing else to do. Might as well. And so I started learning more about what that would be like. I took those classes, and it was just like the most boring thing ever. It was horrible. And in between study breaks, I would just be watching YouTube videos and came across Bigger Pockets, which is the biggest real estate community probably on the internet. I was like, oh, investing, this is kind of cool. And I would watch those videos as, for fun, but then go back to studying to be an agent. Like, all right, let me learn these laws that nobody knows. And maybe after like a week or two, I just decided, well, I don't want to be an agent. I'll just do something else. Had no idea. Still didn't know. Like, you still couldn't really work a job. And so I just kept learning about real estate investing, and I attribute a lot. I attribute all of it to one of my best friends, Hayden, who is just he's He's the best, and there'll be plenty of times where we could talk about him later. But he has been extremely successful at a few other businesses, and he wanted to start investing in real estate. He saw the opportunity at the beginning of COVID, and just knew that there would be phenomenal opportunities in real estate. He knew that I had been investing, or not investing, but studying, and we just started chatting more, analyzing properties, learning together. And I was helping him analyze properties here and there, and kind of helped him to get his first property and then his second property. And just, it was really fun just being a part of the process, being able to help one of my best friends and learn a new skill. And from that bit of confidence, it, you know, learned that maybe I could do something with this. Maybe there is something here. And then I was talking to him one day, and he gave me the confidence to just say, like, why don't you just go into business for yourself? Why don't you start wholesaling, which is finding properties that aren't listed, by real estate agents. It's somebody that owns the home, getting it at a discount, and then selling that to real estate investors. And I thought, yeah, I could do that. I'm great at talking to people. I'm the best. I could easily, oh, that'll be the easiest business ever. This is so simple. Why didn't I think of this sooner? Cut to like a year and a half into wholesaling, and it was a total failure. Like, I was just awful at it. Business is hard. It's so humbling. It's
Yeah.
tough. It's so much tougher than anyone lets on to believe. And I want to bring that up too, because going back to the beginning where we were just talking about different cliches, when people say like it's hard work, long nights, grinding hours, you just hear it so much where it doesn't have that meaning. I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? All right, you got to work hard. Is that once again like that movie montage? Like, it just doesn't mean anything to me anymore. So you don't really grasp what hard work is from that same diluted message. I'm like, I could work hard. I could do it, but it's a different kind of hard work. Like, there's a difference between being trained at a job and just being able to grind and plug away. If it's like, hey, here are your tasks, these are the systems we brought up for you, work hard. That's easy. You can go robot mode. But what about when you have to build everything, and what learning and networking? What about making those adjustments of where the business is supposed to go itself? What about funding? What happens if you don't bring in enough? There's no paycheck. There's so many things, and it all falls on you. And I mean, that's just a little bit of where I didn't grasp what difficult was.
Yeah. It's hard. It's definitely hard. Social media portrays it as easy. All you gotta do is just find a distressed property and you can make X amount of money. Man, listen, you can find the property, but you have to have an organized system to where you're constantly following up. You're constantly reaching out to these people. See, the internet don't tell you what you need to do. Now, some people do. Some people do. It just depends on who you're following. If you're following the right people, shout out to Pace Morby, Brent Daniels, Jamil Dangy, Jerry Norton, Max Maxwell. You got any people that's in real estate?
I would say those guys are, well, I'd say Richard Taylor, a good buddy of mine, and he's got a phenomenal group going.
Mm-hmm. So, you got to follow the right people in order to learn the right systems in the organization with everything. So, when I started, it took me 16 months just to close my first deal. 16 months just because I was inconsistent. I didn't know you need to have multiple people that you reach out to, in order to keep your pipeline filled. And then you got to keep following up, and then you got to keep investing money into it. I mean, yes, you can reach out to agents. There's multiple strategies, but however, it's like you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know that. So me joining Pace Maury, really being around that community and environment, my mentors, it really taught me what a business is. Because a business, regardless of the industry, regardless of the niche, it's the same. You have to have leads. You have to have a follow process. You have to have a system. You have to have disposition. You have to have ways to track everything. And then you have to have marketing. You have to have sales or sales skills. You have to have all these attributes in order to have a successful business. But people don't talk about that. People don't talk about that. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't even know what it was until I started working with my mentors, both Mike Imbriglio and Steve Anderson.
Love those guys.
They taught me so much. Aaron, how important is a mentor?
It's everything. It's everything. And they could take a shape in many ways, and I forget who it was, but they were saying that they had many mentors, and you shouldn't just have one, but they have a mentor where you can learn sales from this guy, maybe uh, I don't know, finance from this mentor. I'm coming up with some blanks right now, but you could have many. Like, who are people that you look up to, that you admire, that you want to learn from? And also, yeah, shout out to Mike and Steve. They're incredible. I was talking to Steve a little earlier today, and going to chat with them later. So I love those guys.
Yeah.
Are you still working with them right now?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I started working with them back in September because bro, it was so hard for me to speak with homeowners. Simply because I wasn't educated. Steve did a phenomenal job teaching me what I need to do, what I need to say, how I need to say, and really just be organized with the conversation. But man, it was so hard. So I didn't. I felt like I wasn't bringing as much value as I knew I could bring. So I wanted to step back away from their business, so I'm not hurting it and or destroying it. And then from
Mm-hmm.
September, October, I just been really, I've been starting and stopping real estate, but now I'm about to put it on pause again, simply because I want to perfect this public speaking, and then really it's the same thing, marketing, but I'm marketing for me to get gigs, and then really put myself out there. Then I'm gonna come back to real estate.
I love that because this is like we talked about the first time we ever met, which was at a real estate meetup. Like, this is your gift. You're really good at this. I am enjoying this conversation so much.
Thank you.
I love the illustrations that you make and how you tie it back in. You're really good at this, and you're committing to your craft. The thing is, as you build your brand, as you get better at this, as you get a larger audience, as you get more reach, well, now you're exponentially more valuable. You're more powerful. So if you want to stay around real estate, now you could just be more of a partner, a spokesperson. You could bring more motivation to these companies. Like, you can be in real estate by just doing what you're doing, and then everyone in that industry will just want you around because of how powerful of a energy you have.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, man. Thank you, thank you. You know, there's a saying: when you know you got it, you got it. But it's the people that you're impacting that identifies how much you have it.
Mm,
It
mm,
speaking is phenomenal. Conversing is amazing. Bringing value is top tier. But I've learned in order to really make a difference, I have to be organized. I have a system and business around this.
mm.
So, like you said, like how can I package up my talent and my gift as a business and really start making change and impact? Because this spring, I'm also going to school. That's a business move. Learned that from Eric Thomas. I'm okay. I'm not getting a doctor's. I'm not gonna say not. Right now, I'm not in the mindset to get a doctorate degree. However, that's later on down the line. But I'm going back to school to get my bachelor's so I can really amp up my credibility. With YouTube, with speaking, with content creation. Like you said, when you have all these, when you have this talent and you really vamp it up to something, you can bring it back into real estate. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. That is the plan because I know a lot of people. A couple of weeks ago, I really just sat down and dwell how many people I know. I know a lot of people because I constantly put myself out there. Like you said with my brand, I'm branding everything. I'm branding everything. This logo is going to become known. There you go. It's going to become known for the amount of value that it brings. So that's why I started wearing hats. Wearing a hat is the best way to market. So I hate wearing hats. I'm gonna wear it today.
You look good with the hat, man. You look good. And the failure is knowledge, besides just a really cool logo. Is that so? Is that somebody with their head in their hands, like failing? I
Yep.
love that. I love that, the adversity, because failure is knowledge. It's feedback. You only learn when there's like some sort of, I don't negative, not even negative feedback. There's feedback. Why if you did it right, you don't need to learn anything. So it's also like this whole societal misinterpretation of, okay, I'm a failure. I did it wrong. It's like, no, you didn't know. So now you have an opportunity to know. You can learn. Like, Failure is knowledge, and I love that so much.
I love your brand as well. Define your purpose. Let's talk about that. How did you come up with your brand name and the meaning behind it?
Oh man. Um, well, it was kind of a long journey, and we've even evolved. Like defining your purpose is definitely a part of what we're looking to do with origami. Um, I, kind of going into that. So Connor, my best friend, my partner, he like, yeah, I'm a co-founder with this. He founded this.
Shout
I
out
think,
to
yeah,
Con.
yeah. He is the reason that origami exists. Like without him, none of this would be happening. He's just brilliant mind. As I don't know, I would be in a very different place in my life without him. And I think a lot of people could attest to that. But and I don't want to tell too much of his story because I know he's going to be on, but he just has such a big heart. He loves helping people and he loves connecting with people. And
Mhm.
he's always had this desire to help people to become the best version of themselves, to help them find their confidence. And it's like, okay, well, if that's really what he wants to do, if that's his purpose, why don't we take the things that have helped shape our lives, these holistic habits like doing yoga, meditating, journaling, these things that are good for us that kind of fall on the wayside because they sound cliche, but they've had massive impacts in our life. Well, they've also helped us to understand who we are. Granted, I'm still figuring that out. So we've launched into this saying we want to help people define their purpose. Well, we're still figuring out ours. It's not like we're these perfect people on a pedestal that have the roadmap. We're in this with you. We're in the trenches,
Yeah.
but it's through these habits that are going to allow you to unshackle yourself, to live the life that you want to live, to define who you want to be and make the impact on the world. That's where it all came from.
Hmm. That's really impactful. So how do you make decisions based on your anxiety, your nervousness? I know you probably hit it early on, but how do you dissect? Okay, I need to do this. Let me just do it. Like as far as business wise, personal wise, and etc.
Whew, that's good. I think I've been getting better at it. Maybe in the past 2 months, I think I've been getting a lot better at it. But being more organized with what my priorities are. And
Hmm.
I've talked to like one shout out to Hayden again. He helps me when I get really overwhelmed or to kind of categorize like what are the most immediate needs. Now with how busy we all are, it's like there's so much going on that you're never going to get everything done. That to-do list will never be gone. So with the limited time we have and the limited leverage that we have, like what needs to be done? And then once you could get better at prioritizing, okay, this is like our DEFCON 5 red flag. This has to be done now. With this thing, I'd like it to be done, but it's more arbitrary. There's no hard date. Let's push it off. Getting better at identifying that allows at least me to be able to focus more on this. Because otherwise, the anxiety comes from analysis paralysis. So many things that could be done where you want to sit down and you don't know where to funnel your energy. So being able to identify this right here, if I don't get this done, everything else falls apart. So I'm just going to focus on that. And I'll say, I struggle with that constantly.
Hmm.
Some days are good. Some days it's like you're just banging your head on a brick wall. It's you learn these habits to calm you down. Like I implement a lot more breath work when I feel overwhelmed. I go to the
Hmm.
gym a lot more. I meditate more, and that helps significantly. But there's sometimes where you don't. There's sometimes where it's just a bit too much and you kind of have to take a step back.
Yeah. This past couple of weeks, a couple of weeks. I can't remember the exact time frame. I've been revamping my YouTube. Aaron, when I tell you it's been so tedious, it's been so overwhelming, it's been so difficult, but it's rewarding. However, it's very tiring because as I'm doing it, I know why I'm doing it just so I can be organized with everything. So I'm really branding myself. So with YouTube, I've been really grinding. I've been really grinding. My thumbnails has changed. Really, the only thing you really see on my page is the brand and like the one I posted today, the one I posted today. Well, not yet today, yesterday. The thumbnail.
Yep.
So really just being organized to the T because with me doing real estate, speaking of property owners, learn about YouTube. It's overwhelming. So I was like, okay, let me let go of something. Me letting go of real estate for now, it's probably like the best thing ever. The best thing ever. Because now I don't have to worry about speaking of homeowners. I mean, yes, I understand like the dynamics of it. However, if I don't focus on speaking to homeowners, I can just really focus on making videos, speaking every day, like booking gigs, going on other people's platforms. If I can just really put my time and energy on that, it will be less overwhelming than I think, that I know. Because I don't have to juggle a lot of things that's on my plate. Because the only thing that's on my plate is YouTube and public speaking. That's
Yeah.
it. That is
Yeah.
it. Everything else is like, okay, what is important? Can I let this go for now? For now. And then come back to it.
Yeah. What was it like day one post cutting real estate out, juggling all of these balls? Your head is in so many different directions, trying to organize it all, being frantic, and then saying, you know what? No, I'm betting on myself. I'm going all in. Terrell is going all in on public speaking, creating YouTube, creating the Failures Knowledge brand. When you decided this is it, and you cut real estate out, what was that first day like?
Yesterday. Yeah. Um, it was yesterday. What led me to that thought was this past weekend, I went to a speak off in Atlanta. When I went to the speak off, I'm telling you, Aaron, when you know you got it, you got it. Okay. Simply because the reason why I know I have it because I've been practicing for so long. 60 seconds is a long time, but if you haven't been practicing how to deliver your speech in 60 seconds, it's a short time.
Hmm.
So I was able to deliver my message within the time frame and really deliver the way I delivered it. And it really enhanced something in me, like throughout the whole event. What I had on, the conversations we had, like the education they gave. I'm like, but it didn't hit me until I came back to Little Rock. But as I'm there and as I'm speaking to people, you get a different feeling in different rooms. You just when you meet people on the same path, how can we grow together? Right. So now it's just okay, where is my energy at? Where is my energy at? This past weekend, if you don't make calls, if you don't reach out to homeowners, you're not gonna get no deals, you're not gonna close on deals. If you put the time and effort in it to do it, then you are gonna close deals. But I've been putting time and effort in speaking and content and really dialing in. So yesterday I was like, I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop real estate. Put it on pause. Wait until I build it up. Because with speaking, I know I can make a difference. I know I can make the difference. By me watching all these podcasts, all these successful people, all these interviews, all these reading all these books, I'm able to identify like myself. I'm like, oh, okay. If I just really focus on speaking, rather than having so many titles on my name, I can really excel in this and be dominant in this field. So when I learned that, when I felt that, I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do, and here's why. Because I'm able to make a difference. I'm able to get in front of a lot of people in a short span of time and make a difference. Another reason why I felt it, because a couple months ago, I was in Orlando, Florida. It was a real estate event, real estate conference. So you know how you go to the event and they ask a question, they got the microphone, and you're able to speak on it, answer the question, then sit back down. So the way I introduce myself is my name is Terrell with the Y, Humphrey. People remember Terrell with the Y. So as the first time I got up, didn't nobody know me. My name is Terrell with the Y, da 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 da. Next time I get up, my name is Terrell with the Y, da 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 da. But when I say my name is Terrell with the Y, people remember me. When I was on the elevator, a guy came up, saw my name tag, And he asked, he was like, "Are you Terrell with the Y?" I said, "I am. How you doing?" Gave him a dap, right? And then the third time I got on stage, well, not on stage, but answering the mic, the speaker said, "I know you." I said, "Nick, I know you as well." So, and then like the last time I spoke and really introduced myself, I was like, "My name is Terrell with the Y." Everybody was like, "Yeah."
You were a celebrity.
you, you know, just really understanding like I really have a gift. I really have a talent. But how can I turn this talent and gift into something that's really beneficial? You know. Hopefully I answer your question. I know I just went on the tangent, but I feel like all of them went like
No,
correlated.
I really appreciate you sharing that, and it's making me think a lot, a
What
lot.
what what is
Um,
something you're thinking about?
um, well, when you were saying if you want to be good in real estate, or at least specifically wholesaling and acquisitions, you got to be calling. You got to be putting your energy into reaching out to homeowners. Like you were aware that your energy was in going to these speaking events. It was in building your brand. And if your energy is there and it's not where it needs to be for that, it's like you're half-assing a couple different things and you're not really doing what you should um, on either one. Like, what are you going to double down on? What are you going to bet on yourself with? And it's, that's powerful. And I appreciate you just sharing that for everyone, because there's something to be said about being able to take on a lot. It can, if you can handle it, it can be beneficial.
Of
I
course.
think it makes me think, because right now I think I'm doing too many things. Um, the tough part is everything is growing. I don't feel like anything's stagnating, and in my mind, it's kind of been this, I would say, almost like extreme mental CrossFit. Like I'm doing so much more than I've ever been able to do, and it's forcing me like painfully to grow, to be able to just handle so much more administrative work, to get better at sales, to get better at marketing, to get better at a lot of things that I never even wanted to, and then being able to juggle it and then being able to focus throughout the day, which I'm bad at, but I am so much better than I was. So
Mhm.
much better. So there's this thing in my mind, and I've never really told anyone about this, but I almost feel like this is still this training. And there's going to be a point where either the few other businesses that I'm working on kind of just run themselves, which is the goal. I'm trying to just set them up and then bring in more people as it gets a little bit larger. Because the passion and the love is interviewing, it's podcasting, it's doing this. Like, this is so much fun, but I could do this all day, any day. And I notice that that's most time where my energy goes. So it's like, but it's tough. I still love everything else that I do. So it just, it makes you think. It makes you think, are you doing yourself justice by doing more? Or is there a benefit to kind of just cutting ties and just going all in, diving into the deep end?
What I learned, bro, is that cutting ties is better. Because here's why. Here's why I say this. Through my divorce, before I made my mind up and asked for a divorce, 'cause I was the one to ask for it. I prolonged it. I prolonged it because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I didn't want to, put her in a bad situation. I should have asked for a divorce in January, but I asked in like April or May because I couldn't fathom the words to say I want a divorce. You know, I want to part ways. I want to go, not be with you no more. It's the words hurt. It hurt. Not only did it hurt her, it hurt me as well. You think I want to say this? You think I got the guts and the confidence to say this? Absolutely not. It hurts. It hurts. But it was the best thing I could have ever done because within this last couple of months, I'm able to grow and identify who I'm becoming, what my purpose is, why I need to do this, why I'm putting myself out here, because everything has a reason, but we have to go and seek that reason once we let go of things. My relationship, I loved her. I loved her to death. I have nothing bad to say about her. I still hope the best for her. I wish the best for her. But I just know that wasn't our moment together. I mean, our moment together was phenomenal, but I just know it that wasn't the lifetime. The relationship wasn't a lifetime. When I let go yesterday, when I made my mind up to let go of real estate, everything just felt, it felt relieved. It felt relieved. Like today, I was about to work on my YouTube. I laid on the floor. I took me a nap. I took a nap, simply because I felt how exhausted I was. So I was like, let me just take a nap. That's what I did because I have everything else on my mind to worry about. The podcast is phenomenal. The YouTube is phenomenal. The dialect, the conversation is what drives me. So I need to do this every day. I need to find a way to do this every day. I need to find a way to connect with the right people. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going all out on one specific niche, one specific industry, which is public speaking. Public speaking is podcasting. Podcasting is interaction. Interaction leads to like a bigger audience, and writing a book, right? So it correlates with each other, but you have to identify what you want to let go in order for it to balance out.
Wow. Wow. I think a lot of people could take a lot from that. I know I'm learning a lot. Oh, you're not just sharing what you've learned, but you're sharing the energy that you've gotten from that. I mean, I could literally see, I could feel how much relief you have from just being able to let go.
Yeah.
The fact that you can take a nap, I mean, that's beautiful. That you could take it because your mind isn't just scattered
Mhm.
thinking about, oh my God, how do I overcome this objection? Oh, do we need to do inspections on this house? What's the foundation like? Like, who cares? Who gives a shit about the foundation? You don't
Yeah.
need to now. You found what you love, you found your gift, and you've committed. And that's a beautiful thing. And I'm so blessed to be a part of that, especially. So, is this day two? Is this day two into fully public speaking?
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. Man, I thank you, Aaron. I thank you. I think when I introduced myself the other day, I think I said I was a public speaker. I was like, whoa, where did that come from?
Mm, mm. How'd that feel?
It felt good. It felt soothing, like I'm walking in my path because I was able to identify that. So now when I introduce myself as Terrell with the Y, the first part of the conversation. Then at last I say Terrell Humphrey, and my mission just really instilling confidence within oneself, belief. Well, I know not belief, solitude, and it's another. I'm trying to get this down packed so I can't remember it. But what is
You
it?
got
Solitude, confidence, and I think understanding themselves. I think understanding themselves and confidence correlates with each other. So I got to find another word that to replace it. So just really understanding that we have to be in our purpose in order to make a difference.
Can you say that again?
We have to be in our be. Hold on, tongue twister, tongue twister.
Got it, man. Ride that tongue roller coaster.
We have to be in our purpose in order to make a difference.
Mm.
If you identify, you can't make a difference.
And you can only identify it when you got awareness. Got to be aware of what you don't like because that helps find what you do like. You find what you do like, find your purpose. You find that vehicle that's going to take you to where you want to go. It's going to make that impact on other people. Oh, got to be in your purpose. I love
Man,
that, man. That's beautiful.
man, thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. When we was at this the event in Atlanta, this guy came up to me named Justin. We spoke like probably a couple minutes before he went on stage. When he asked me a question, he was like, "Man, what do you talk about?" I said, "To be honest, I never say the same thing over and over again because I cannot remember." I said, "Every time it's a different subject because it just all depends on the crowd. It really just all depends on the crowd." I said, "I'm able to look at the crowd, see what people need, and they just, deliver like that." He was like, "Man, I'm having a hard time, bro." He was like, "I'm overthinking it. I'm overthinking it." I said, "Bro, just tell your story. Just tell your story." Aaron, this man got on stage and he told his story and he won a gold ticket. I didn't have nothing to do with it. Wait.
Or
Correction.
did,
You said what?
said, or did you?
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that. I believe I was able to instill confidence within himself to say I can tell my story because he's a confidence coach as well. So he's so used to instilling confidence in everybody else, he forgot about it himself. And when he done it, he won. What I did, I celebrated everybody. Everybody. I think it was like 40 names called. I'm standing up clapping. I'm standing up clapping, Aaron. Why am I doing this? Because I'm a big supporter. Listen, I ain't got no hate in my blood, so I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna definitely celebrate because y'all deserve this. Y'all deserve this. A lot of times people don't understand what we go through as human beings and entrepreneurs. I listen. I'm gonna, you feel me? I'm gonna clap for you. If nobody else is clapping for you, I'm gonna clap for you. It was like 40%. Maybe no, I'm lying. It was maybe 60 to 70% sitting down. I'm like, y'all ain't gonna get up and clap? Like, this is a big accomplishment. You
Man,
know? So,
everyone needs a Terrell with the Y in their life. Come on. We all need someone like you.
but everyone can't get to real with the why, you know.
Yeah. Got to book a Calendly appointment.
I'm I'm
Yeah.
slowly not I'm accessible, but I can like deviate the time because a lot of people take advantage of your time and your kindness. I want the best for everybody, so there's a limit.
I really want to touch on something you said, that you don't say the same thing, twice. Also, because you don't remember it. I don't remember anything. Um, when you're looking at a crowd, how do you go about identifying? Like, how do you read them? How do you know? Okay, this type of crowd needs to hear this, as opposed to this type of crowd needs to hear this.
I feel like it's really an energy. Like as I'm sitting in a room, um, I just think about what I want to talk about. Like for this, like the first time I went and we did the competition, I was talking about seizing the opportunity. How I got the idea, it was I had went to Grant Cardone Mastermind in California. I seized that opportunity. I filled out the paperwork, the ad, and I showed up. But when I showed up, this was a different kind of room. This room was so special simply because of the people that was in there and how much they have accomplished throughout their life. Grant Cardone said that room had 1.2 billion, like for everybody in there. I'm like, why am I in here? Because I seized the opportunity. So when I gave my speech, when I got up and talked, I talked within 60 seconds, seized the opportunity. I can't remember what I said, but that one I just was thinking about the doubt. I just was thinking about that one particular saying, seize the opportunity, seize the opportunity, seize the opportunity. The next time I went, because they did second chance for people that didn't win to the second round. So the second time I went was about second chances. So it correlated with the topic at hand. We all get second chances, but until we identify who we are, this second chance will be wasted. I don't know if I said that, but that was pretty good.
That was really good. That's why it's all recorded. Hour 18, 40 seconds in. We got this. Clip that up.
Clip that up.
Put it on the YouTube.
I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write that down. So just listen to everybody, listen to not listening, feeling the room, looking at everybody, and then the idea, the topic just really dawned upon me.
Mm.
How do you go by identify what you want to speak about?
I think something very similar. What I've learned is when you try to talk about things that don't give you energy, it sounds like shit.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you excited about? Maybe what do you geek out about? What are the things that make you light up that you could talk to, for hours about? I mean, that first time that we met each other at that real estate meetup. I don't know, probably back in April. Yeah, I think it was back in April now.
Was it April?
I think so. Yeah, we've been friends for
Wow.
a while now, man. Yeah,
Wow, this a long time. I'm grateful
yeah.
to be in your life.
Likewise. Thank you so much for having me. It's oh man, it's I I think it's literally just the embodiment of what we're doing now. It's like, what do you get excited about? Talk about that. And then maybe if you want to develop a little bit more structure and start to build something out of that, it's like have a free flowing conversation. Watch it. What are the key points? Okay, make it a little bit more structured. Have your talking points on it. Do it again, or check that out. Revise it. I think it's like what gives you energy. What are you passionate about? Because I also know when you talk about things you don't care about and it sounds like shit, there's a very quick feedback of you have zero impact on anybody. You're not connecting with anybody. You're literally just wasting time. You're wasting breath. It's something that's just kind of ridiculous, but it's easier to do. And it kind of seems like most conversations are like that. It's just people going through the motions, not even knowing what they're saying, why they're saying it, or what they're doing a month from now.
Mhm. I agree. It's really difficult to get in front of people and speak. The statistics are 75% of people cannot do public speaking. It's hard. It to get in front of a lot of people, just really talk and really pour your heart out. We don't want to get judged. We don't want to get booed. We don't want to, get discomfort. All these things are going on because we are making them exist. See, the audience don't know who you are. The second you start speaking is the second they learn more about you.
Mm.
So I'm like, oh, that's all I gotta do, just be myself. As far as like topics that I don't really speak about, I would tell you I do not feel comfortable speaking about that. I was at an event. My brother Kelly, him and his band was playing at some event. I can't remember what it was called. It was like some charitable event. And so they asked me to do the first speech. I did it. I think it was about anti-bullying, how to prevent anti-bullying or something like that. I was like, man, I've never got bullied. I'm like, how can I tie my life experience with something about bullying? I'm like, okay. I think I talked about um, growth, not growth, but being in the right time or being in the right place. I don't know. Well, everything happened for a reason. I can't remember the exact. I can't. I don't know. Um, but the first speech I did pretty good. When I saw I got talking, and then the owner came back to me. He was like, "Man, can you talk again?" I said, "Yeah, for sure. What's the topic?" He told me the topic. I said, "Man, I do not feel comfortable about speaking about that." He said, "Yeah, man, you can just talk for like 5 minutes." I do not feel comfortable speaking about that. I do not. I don't talk about it. So I don't
What
feel.
was it?
I don't feel comfortable.
What
Absolutely
was
not.
the
What was the topic? I think he said something about politics, and I automatically was like, nope, nope.
Yeah, that's a quick exit.
Yep, nope. I don't speak about politics. I'm learning about it. I don't speak about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a slippery slope. It's a quick way to get people either cheering with you or hating you,
What was the last thing?
or like just hating you. It's either people want to follow along with whatever you're saying and just be your cheerleader, or you're going to polarize the room very quickly. But politics it's important, but man, that could be a very divisive topic.
That's why I don't talk about it.
When you are preparing a speech, do you like what is that process like? Can you walk me through that?
Yeah, very simple for me. I think about ideas like say, give me a topic.
Um, self-confidence.
Self-confidence, easy. Already in my head. I already know what I'm gonna say.
Mhm.
Because I've been practicing for so long. So now I know how to start. So what I'll say is a lot of people don't understand what self-confidence is because they don't know themselves. But the second we start knowing ourselves is the second in the day we start building confidence. The fact I was able to do that right on the
Yeah.
spot, shows you how much preparation I have for this.
So would you take that first step because you've already practiced that? You can launch into it. Do you
Mhm.
take that and just kind of allow your emotions to take control of where the conversation goes? Like, I guess another question, do you know when you've said too much? Like, do you know when it's a good time to just cut it off here? More would just kind of dilute the conversation.
When I feel like I'm starting to fluff, so if the points are not valid enough, I'm just rambling just to be rambling. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to end. Maybe I need to go ahead and say a hard point and go ahead and end it. Just really listening to the words as you're speaking it, because I don't write anything down because I can't remember what I write down. I
Mm,
tried to do that a couple of times and it was so hard. I was in college. I was in college this past summer. It was a speech class. I only took one class. As the one assignment that I really sucked at was reading from the paper, reading from the script. The speech was Martin Luther King, "What's your life's blueprint?" It was a great speech. I listened to it. I'm listening to how he delivered it. I got up there. I'm reading the words from the paper. It did not sound like me. It was hard simply because I can't remember what's on paper.
yeah.
Because what happens as we're writing everything down, just for me speaking, like giving a speech. If I write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. So I want to remember everything that I just wrote down. I mean, yes, you can use bullet points, but it's like I don't know. It just all depends on the crowd. How long are you speaking for? What are you talking about? How many points do you have? If you have more than 3 points, you can't remember 10 points. Yeah, maybe write the points down. But if you got
Yeah.
like maybe three, you can remember those. Just tie those in as you're speaking it. Keep repeating the 3 points so you don't forget it subconsciously and then out loud. And then it's different strategies. I'm learning
Mhm.
different strategies. I think did I answer your question on that one?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And it's cool to see different people's creative processes, and it's tough. And I'd love to get your thoughts on this. I know personally, when I'm trying to write out a script or when I'm trying to write out something I want to talk about, I get anxiety if I try to have it too
Yep.
structured. It's like
Hmm.
this is what I want to say. It's going to flow directly into that because then you feel inauthentic, especially in sales. It's like the best conversations are flowy. You know the different points you need to get to. You know how you qualify. You know how you need to disarm objections. You just know how you get to the close. But when you're really comfortable with the service or the product you're selling and you really get the needs of your client, you can just allow it to go anywhere you want to. And it doesn't need to go A to B to C. You go A to F, and then back to C, and back to G, and then back to B. And you're allowing it to go where it needs to go. Because as much as we think we know what should happen, there's something different that happens in the moment. Granted, if you're an actor and you have a script, like you probably shouldn't just like script the lines for 4 pages. You're gonna Quentin Tarantino's gonna lose his mind.
Yeah.
That's not good. But I appreciate you sharing that because I like at least writing things down or maybe taking like a quick video recording and just getting the thoughts out there, getting them there, maybe writing a little bit, expanding on it, but then eventually just going freestyle. I guess in a way, like you said, you've done the work so that if I asked you about self confidence on the spot, you could go into that. I guess that's kind of my process for being able to have that preparedness to just launch into it without having a specific structure, note cards, anything like that.
Yeah, it definitely takes time because when I started, I wasn't this confident, I wasn't this soothing, I wasn't this understanding, simply because I didn't know what I was delivering. I haven't experienced life like I needed to experience it. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
experiencing it, but you got different levels of experience and growth and hurt and sorrowness. But it's because what I came to learn, I be having some fire points in my head. I be when I want to write it down, I want to remember the one I wrote down, but I can't remember because I just can't remember from paper. So it's like, oh, okay. I'm stressing myself trying to remember everything that I want to say by writing it down. Just take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath and just whatever comes out is naturally flowing out. Because You understand the topic. You understand yourself. You understand the message. You understand the lives that you are going to impact. So it's just really repetition, 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 repetition. Just really getting the habit to where if you need to write it down, you can, but you don't necessarily need to write it down. If that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. And this just feels like a master class because I love this. But I really appreciate it because I mean a friend of mine, you're really good at this. And I'm trying to just take notes on this and learn and emulate myself after what you've done because you are soothing. You are confident. You have this really good energy that attracts people. Like it's fun, but it's also something where like and I could say this very clearly, if you don't quit, you will be massive at whatever avenue you go down. Like you have it. You
Thank,
do.
thank you,
And
thank
I don't think we're gonna quit. I'm pretty sure after this conversation, we're both pretty firm on our mindsets. You're not going to, so it's really just inevitable. But you're really good at this, and I think it's even better because you work really hard. You identified the gift, and you've worked your ass off to enhance that gift. It's beautiful.
thank you, thank you. Steve told me the same thing, bro. And I really do appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart, simply because like a lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes. It's so daunting, so
Mhm.
hard, so difficult, just to get up every day, do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, then get in front of the camera and then record, just really bringing content and being vulnerable to the camera, to the world. It's hard because how do you get comfortable with something that's hard? You gotta keep doing it. You gotta keep doing it.
Mhm.
See, the journey teaches you who you're becoming, right?
Mhm.
Let's just say I do have all this talent, I do have this gift. If I stop, I can't keep perfecting it. I had watched this podcast yesterday. He was like, a lot of people are when people get up and speak in front of people, they're practicing their message. He was like, but in the backward, they didn't do anything. They haven't been talking about it. I'm like, what? That was He hit it right on the nail. A lot of people don't practice their craft because we think that we master it. Absolutely not. You can never master your craft because you're always practicing and finding ways to perfect it. Like prime example, this past weekend there was a speech coach. Well, it was coaches there, but I didn't know what to ask them. I did. I mean, I conversed with one of them. Introduced myself, had a conversation with them, but I didn't know what to personally ask as far as speaking.
Mhm.
As people start to get up later on throughout the day, it was another round. People got up and spoke. A speaking coach gave insight on what to do. So it's different people, different strategies, different ways to fix it, and here's how. I said, they giving away free game. As you're, I don't know if you noticed or not, but as I was speaking a couple of points, my tonality really dropped to the point to where I constantly have your attention. I don't know if you noticed that. I don't know if you noticed,
You're
huh?
good. You're
But
good.
it's whatever you're saying, it has to match the tonality. Like when you watch it, I'm gonna say this one, you're gonna identify. I was talking down. I said 3 points in a low monotone, and then the point after the third one, I got excited that I brought it back down to the monotone.
Hmm.
I can't remember exactly what I said. I cannot remember exactly what I said,
You know
but
the energy that you were using because you know
yeah,
how to you know what gets people's attention and you know how to emphasize a point. And that's yeah, the tonality, the cadence of it, that's powerful.
and another thing as well, the cadence is factor vital, very vital. It's this guy
Mhm.
named Jonathan. He's a speaking coach or a business consultant, I think, whichever word. He was like, speaking is like music. I said, what you
Ooh.
mean? He said, you know how music has the sound waves, like you can really hear the beat, the drums, the snare, like all the instruments. I was like, yeah. He's like, that's what you need to do with your voice. What? I'm like, okay, okay.
You got to be singing all the time.
And it's amazing to even be in the room just to hear something like that. Like, how does that correlate with speaking?
Hmm.
Because it does. You have sound waves that we as human beings have, but everybody just know one. They don't know how to deviate from low to mon to low and bring it back up. Why you bringing it back up at the points that you're saying? Like it this was
Yeah.
free game, okay? Later on down the line, I'm gonna be a business consultant as well because I'm
Ooh, dude, these are gems.
these are gems, just really learning, then implementing, and then implementation, then learning. But I can't if I'm not taking action, I don't know the questions to ask. These speakers, coaches that was there, but I didn't know what to ask. I'm taking action, but I never had a speaking coach. I don't know what to ask, what not to ask. It's this guy named Hewen. He gave me a couple of exercises. He was like, you gotta first question he asked me, Aaron. The first question this man asked me was a question I knew right off top. He asked me, what are what are some obstacles and how can you overcome them? I'm like, cool. Da, 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 da. He said, you see how quick he was about to answer that? He said, it means that you know the answer. He was about find a way to answer this question in multiple ways. I said, okay. That's what I did. And I start figuring out how to answer that question in multiple ways. What I've learned, the way I'm able to answer this question in multiple ways is what people are struggling with. I'm like, this man is a genius. What?
Can you can you elaborate on that part a little bit more? You found that it's what people are struggling with that you're gonna answer in different ways.
Yes. So the niche that I'm in is in personal development. What are some obstacles that people face and how can they overcome them? Confidence. We don't have confidence because we don't have belief within ourselves. Patience. We don't understand success comes later rather than today.
Mm.
Determination. Understanding it's going to be hard. So why should we quit when it get hard?
Wow, that's such a powerful and simplified framework to understand how to address your audience. What matters to these people?
Yeah.
How to not get lost in just the sea of so many different topics. That's that's phenomenal. That's really thank you. Thank
Man,
you.
man, Aaron, this has been phenomenal. Next time we do a podcast, let's do it with you and Connor.
Oh yeah.
Because the reason why I asked to do it separately this time, 'cause I really want to dive in both of y'all brains and then come back again and do it together and then just really have that dialect conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited. I'm so excited for you guys to get to know each other. He's the best. Like you're gonna love him.
I can't wait. I thank you for the connection as well, bro. I cannot wait. So, Aaron, man, before we end, I got one segment. It's called Best for Last. So what this question is, and what this segment is, it's the last segment of the podcast, and I ask four questions, and you have to answer them fast. You
Mhm.
already answered one, but I'm gonna answer it again. Ask it again. The first one is, how do you keep your composure?
Hmm. By sitting with the demons.
Woo! Sitting with the demons.
Yeah, man. It's something that I think everyone's gonna have their own learning curve, obviously. But the sooner that you could get comfortable with the fact that it's okay to be uncomfortable, that you don't have to always feel good if you're confident in what you're striving for, I think it's a lot easier to conceptualize that being overwhelmed is just a part of it. And once you can begin to conceptualize it, you have awareness of it, you can start to build the repetitions. You can then, like, because let's say you want to get bigger biceps, right? Like, you can know you need to do certain things, do pull ups, do curls. You're aware of what needs to happen. But if you ain't putting in that work, nothing's happening. You need to be aware. And once you're aware, then you could start taking action. Then, well, if you want big biceps, but you're lifting, you're doing one curl once a month, you're probably going to get results at a little bit of a different time than someone who's just crushing it. So, yeah, I guess that's a roundabout way of answering that.
That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Next question. What do you regret?
I just don't, I just don't, I don't think I have any big regrets. It terrifies me because if I do have any regrets and I would have done something different, I just don't think I'd be where I am. I don't think I'd be the person I am. I don't think I would have suffered the pain that's allowed me to have the mindset that I know is taking us so much farther. I just don't think I have any. I'm so grateful for everything that's happened.
I agree. I agree. That's the next question. What are you grateful for?
Man, I am just psychic. um, I am eternally grateful for my parents. I don't know what I'd do without them. They have just, they're the ultimate cheerleaders, the ultimate supporters. I love them to death. I was a piece of shit child. Granted, forgiven myself. There are reasons why,
Yeah.
it's, but god damn, they are good people. I am so grateful for my friends, and not even like, I don't even look at them as friends, man. They're family. Like, my blood, I have great blood family, but the ones that I'm close to, it's really my mom, my dad, my aunt, my uncle, my grandma. I have other first cousins, and I love them. It's just we're not close. So I've had a very small family in my life, and I think I've unknowingly adopted my friends into my family because my friends are my everything. They're the rocks, the support group, and I'm just grateful that they're good people. That we can drive each other crazy, but that we grow together. And we can make mistakes, and we don't just talk shit.
Yeah.
We want to help each other. Everyone in my circle is a genuinely good human, and I'm so grateful for that.
Hmm. That personal connection really helps you grow. You know, family is family once we treat everybody right. It doesn't blood does not matter. Looks does not matter. Demographics that does not matter. Family is family once we're on the same energy and vibe. Last but not least, but favorite question. What does failure's knowledge mean to you?
Hmm. Hmm. Take pride in making mistakes. Be aware of that feeling because we all know what it's like. Let's say you're in baseball and you strike out.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe kickball, if more people played that in school, like, you just whiff it, you trip on the sand, you just you screw up. Maybe you failed a test, something that makes you sick to your stomach. We've all felt that. Like, we know what it feels like to screw up, to do something wrong. I would say start taking that feeling, and rather than that being that red alert, like, embrace it as fuel. Think of it as an indicator that this is an opportunity for you to grow. And the sooner that you could forgive yourself, say, okay, I screwed up. I didn't get it right. Well, now you can get it right. Now you can grow, get better at dating that feeling.
Hmm. Wow. This has been great. This has been great. Aaron, man, how can people find you? How can people support you? How can people follow you? How can people buy your merch? How can people find you?
Oh man, I would say first, please follow at origami. That's I'm gonna put it up.
Yes,
Origami.
sir. Yes,
There
sir.
we go. There we
Damn.
go. All right, there we go. Origami, AURGAMI. Please follow us on Instagram. You can check out our website, origami.com. We have incredible merch. It's been beautiful to see the development of that. And also, if you're into yoga, you're just into really anything active, we have a very unique product called the Tote Towel. For those of you out there that ever do hot yoga, you know how like hot and slippery it could get. You know how it's kind of the biggest nightmare to be juggling a bunch of different things when you're exhausted. You've just been beaten to hell by the demons of hot yoga. But we got something that's going to make your life so much easier. It's the Tote Towel. It's our own product, and it's a yoga towel that also carries your yoga mat. Swap it over your shoulder. I should have brought one, but it's stylish. It's all the rage, and you know how you could check it out and actually figure out what I'm talking about. Go to the website origami.com. Please check it out. But really would appreciate that. You can follow me personally on at Aaron Unfiltered on Instagram. But that's really it. Yeah, check out Origami. Appreciate the hell out of you, man. This has been so much fun, and I'm just very grateful that I get to learn from you. This is something that I really want to dive more into, and um, everyone that watches this is just very blessed to be a part of you. You do such a great job at this, and it's cool to see the journey.
Man, thank you, bro. Again, man, I really appreciate you for your kind words and your acknowledgement, man. It's really fulfilling to say, to see that I'm on the right path. You know, it's hard, but I'm glad I'm not doing it by myself. For everybody else that tapped in and joined the live, if y'all really got value from this and y'all really want to watch more videos, click this video right here, and we'll see you there.
Peace.